All right, all right. Happy Friday, Sweet 16. How sweet it is. We are here. We are here. We are 1 week away from Final Four. Like, I cannot believe it. Like,
Man,
what happened
listen.
to March Madness? Like, March Madness is not even madness, it's complete chaos. Chaos.
Yes,
My
it is, and I love it.
My bracket is like a straight Michael Jordan meme. Like it is bananas. Like I don't even know where it's at, what we're looking at, because it's got holes and it's just chaos. But like I said, I love it. From the women's side, it's great to see the Ohio State, Sweet 16. I mean, we got a lot to talk about. So it's just gonna be the ladies. Women's History Month is here. We're
Ladies
nearing the end.
night.
We're nearing the end. So we're gonna Tony D is our lead analyst tonight. So we're just gonna pop on in. Let's get it started. All right. So what's up, Tony D? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, good, good, good. We ain't gonna be doing no yawning tonight. So you better hold it in for about an hour and a half. Get it
I'm
together, get it
trying. I'm
together.
trying.
And just what you said this is your time to shine. This is when you come alive. So let's get it. Let's get it.
All
So,
righty.
all right. So where we going? Where we going first?
Well, we're gonna start with the tournament first, like you said. Like, I mean, my bracket. Well, the ones that I entered in online, they're done because Kansas is done. But we're actually doing a bracket challenge as a family. So,
Okay.
for the girls, we told them, he's like, hey, you can fill out a bracket for each, or, you can do both tournaments or one or the other. So, we had one child who chose to just do one. Only did one for Olivia because that was a challenge anyway within itself because she's 5. But the rest of us have done one for
Okay.
both. And I'm gonna tell you though, Evie, little Miss Evelyn. Hold on, no, that's the men's one. I mean, I'm looking at these, and I ain't gonna lie. When Evelyn was making some of her selections, because I would read off the names of the teams to her, and she would
Okay.
tell me, and I'd be like, go with this one. Or I would just write in who I think was right. But little mama to make, like, she is the only one that had Florida. She had Florida Atlantic going to the Elite Eight.
Wow. Okay.
Right. I'm like, okay, maybe my baby do know what she's talking about in a
Maybe
way.
she might just know what she's talking about.
Right. I'm like, okay, but yeah. Reggie's bracket is done. Like when I saw Michigan State loss, I was like, dang. He had Michigan
Yeah.
State and Kansas.
Kansas went out. Duke went out. I mean, it's been bananas. Like never been done. Number one is no longer in the Sweet 16. So,
No,
but it,
we still got 2 because we got Houston
oh,
and
that's right.
Alabama.
It's what is it? What is it? Who's still in it? I think it's hold on.
Houston and Alabama.
Yeah, Houston and Alabama. And now it's going to be some pretty good matchups. Alabama gets San Diego State. You got Houston and Miami, Princeton and Creighton, and
Right.
Xavier in
Hold
Texas.
on. Now, hold on. I gotta think. Cause who won between Gonzaga and UCLA? Do you remember who won that game
I
last
want to
night?
say it is Gonzaga and
Was it
UCLA, the tourney. I want to say I thought it was Gonzaga, 79 and
Gonzaga?
76 on March 23rd. I was going to say because I was watching
I
a little bit
don't
of that
know.
last night.
I don't know if this has ever been done before, but in the Elite Eight, well, that's right. Houston plays Miami. So
Right.
that game hasn't gone. But we have the chance to have no number 2. No, hold on. I think Texas won their game. But I think we're down to only 1 2 seed in the Elite
Yeah.
Eight.
Yeah.
And
And the men, you got San Diego and Alabama. They got San Diego as a 7.5 point favorite, which I was surprised.
what?
Yes. So I've been watching the spread. So the
Okay.
spread right now is 7.5 point favorite with San Diego
Oh,
Aztecs entering the Sweet
I see
16.
why. I see why. So, a scoring update. San Diego State is up at halftime, 28-23 over Alabama.
Yeah.
Right
I'm
now,
watching that. That's what I'm saying. I'm watching that game like, listen, San Diego
right
can take it on the
now,
way, but who would have ever thought
oh,
San Diego? Like San Diego,
right,
because everybody had Alabama. Because if they lose tonight, my bracket falls apart. My bracket folds up
right,
like a
right
paper bag.
now, right now, Miami is up. I mean, it's still pretty early, but right now, Miami is up on Houston 17-12.
Yeah, because they have
The
Houston
first
as a
half.
favorite.
I
Yeah,
mean,
they have Houston as the favorite over Miami.
could you imagine a Final Four with no number one or no number two?
All right, and it can happen because I'm looking at this. I look at the Cinderella story. I didn't know too much about Princeton Tigers, but I am rooting for them. Even though my bracket will fold like a paper bag, I would love to see them in the Final Four.
Yes,
And
just
that's the
like that
question:
year
can
George
they take
Mason,
down?
just like
Right,
George Mason did it, and then who was that a couple years ago with Sister Jean?
like back in the day, it was
Convo.
Gonzaga.
Right. Like that's the thing. Back in the day, Gonzaga was the Cinderella story. Now they
Like
are
you
like,
didn't know anything about the Zags until
yeah,
March Madness, and they were the sleeper team, Cinderella team, and they came in there and they was knocking people out left and right. So now to see them in the spotlight and holding their own, I was like, okay. I'm like, wow, yeah. I'm looking
right,
forward to these
right.
games, even with
Oh my God.
Xavier. Ohio team still there. That's gonna be
Yeah.
that's the nightcap game. Is Texas Longhorns against Xavier Musketeers. And again, they're the 2 and 3 seeds. So in the Midwest, they got the lowest for Friday's game. So I am looking, I think Xavier can do it. I think if they can hold off Texas in the paint and continue to just drive the ball and play as a team, Xavier has a great chance of winning tonight and be in the final and be in the top, in the elite
After
eight as they call it.
after seeing the last couple minutes of that K-State Michigan State game, listen, K-State, woo, them
Oh,
boys, like,
I was so
listen,
mad.
I
I
didn't
wanted to
see
see my
very much.
boy.
I saw the highlight, and I'm like, these boys is cold blooded. 19
I was
assists.
so mad.
19
I love
assists.
right.
Like,
I love Michigan State when we play basketball. I don't like him in football, but basketball, I love him. I love the coach. What is his name? Is that Izzo? I
yes,
love him.
Izzo.
So,
Yep.
yeah, so down to earth, so humble, and his teammates love him. So I was so sad to see him go. Like,
No more Big Ten teams left.
nope, gone. Gone. So yeah, we got Gonzaga. What about like Florida Atlantic? Like who knew Florida Atlantic?
Apparently, Evelyn did. Apparently, Evelyn did.
Oh my God. So yeah, tonight we're gonna be all by 9 o'clock because I want to see the Princeton Crate game, Xavier in Texas. They're like 9:45, and then tomorrow, woo, man, there's some heavy hitters tomorrow. Florida
Yeah.
Atlantic and Kansas State. What do you think about Florida Atlantic and Kansas State? 9-3.
Kansas State A game. I would not sleep on Florida Atlantic. Could you imagine
No,
though for that side of the bracket? Hold on. Could you imagine for that side of the bracket, the Final Four being Princeton versus Florida Atlantic?
right.
You know,
That's what I'm
Like when
saying.
people see, this is my thing. When people, oh, I don't want to watch it if it ain't a blue blood. Why not? Why not? The postseason is all about not the postseason. It's not about your history. You know, it's not about where the country ranks you. The postseason in every sport is about who has that momentum. What
Right.
team can come together and just play as a team?
Yep.
TEAM. Years ago, at a church, and team was like the title of it, and
Uh-huh.
but the acronym that I created for that, and I came up with it on my own. Somebody else may have already used it or may have thought of it since then, but team. And for me, team stood for together, each achieves more.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's like, okay, yeah, you got your Dukes, you got your Purdue's, your Kansas, your Alabamas, your Michigan States, your UCLA's, the people you think are supposed to be there. But I think we're going to start seeing more and more. I want to say like 5 through 16 seeds make it further than the first or second round.
Right.
Like, we never thought after Virginia lost to UAB a couple years ago, we never thought we would see another 16 seed take down another number one. Like, I'm sure ever since then, every number one seed is like, okay, whoever we play, we can't take them lightly. We just can't take them lightly. And
No.
here
And
it has happened again. I mean, let's take it
and
over
that's
to
the
the women.
beauty of the teams that you never see on TV, or you see them on them late night airing time,
Yeah,
like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. You really are seeing them now taking full advantage. And like you said, I mean, as a bracket, oh my God, no. But as of watching the game and just watching, how the experts pick it, how we talk about it, it's great to see those Cinderella stories, the narrative change. The conversation has to change. It's not the teams that you, even like Alabama, the teams that you will automatically see, like the UConns and the Tennessees and the Kansas City, the Dukes, that you would see dominate the March Madness in so many years prior. They're not even in anymore. So
right.
that's where I say teams are starting to recruit the different players, different style of players are coming into the college, and they're playing a different style of game. And yeah, like this whole weekend, I have been
You
standing
know
up
what?
watching TV, like
I
literally
think
standing
it's
like
more
this. This is why I've been standing out like this. What is happening? Ah! Oh my God.
But you know what? I think it's more than just a different way of recruiting. When you look at these teams, especially over the last 10 years, the George Mason and the Chicago Loyola, and who was that? They made it all the way to the championship game 2 years in a row and lost. And 1 year they lost to Duke. Oh my God, I can't remember their name. They were considered the Cinderella. Dang, I can't remember their name. But it goes
Go get
to
auntie. Go get auntie.
staying for more than 1 year. I do believe now you are seeing the true value of having
Yes.
a team of players that have been together for 2, 3 seasons. Because you got to
Yep.
think about it. Some of these teams, okay, they've gotten in the past 2 seasons, may have done a shocker and got past the first round, but then got beat in the second round. And then by that third year, you got all those players still together. They remember how it felt to be booted early. Okay, we've been here before. We've won before. We're not intimidated. Like, the school
Nope.
you go to is not really starting to matter in basketball.
Right.
Like, chemistry is key. And I do believe the one and dones is starting to hurt the blue bloods. I do
Right.
believe they're hurting the blue bloods. I don't care what anybody says. Could you imagine if some of these players, heck, stayed 2 years? Like what it would do for not only their game, but I would say their body endurance. And then imagine how much more developed they would be for the NBA. Because I'm sorry, 1 year of college is not going to get your body ready. Now, my
No.
opinion, because I always go to this particular player because everybody wants to dog him. You know, he ain't nothing but mouth. And, of course, because Draymond Green does the dirty work. But
Right.
Draymond Green spent 4 years under Izzo. He spent 4 years
Yep.
under Tom Izzo.
And you see the difference of why he's been able to maintain.
Man, listen, exactly. How many injuries has he had?
Not really none.
How many
But I
injuries
also say, not even an injury, he's mentally. And when you the next level, like national level, what should I say, NBA, NFL, you have to be mentally prepared. And Draymond Green, he always reminds me of Dennis Rodman. He just reminds me of that Dennis Rodman mindset, style of the talking trash, but he's still the mental toughness. And that comes from Tom Izzo. And that's one thing I love about Izzo. I don't care what you think about him. The boy brings some caliber players to the next level.
Yes.
To the next level.
Absolutely.
And I'm just like, oh my! That's why I wanted to see him take it and go further because they haven't been in years. So, and I kind of looking at the stats as you know. All right, as they're going to the final, with the 4 regional semifinals left to play this weekend, which will be 8 elite. I mean, Alabama has never made it to Final Four. So when you think about the football to the basketball, they've never made it. So they actually think that they can. Their last Elite 8 was 2004. Like, what? That's damn near almost 20-something years. Like, that's bananas.
Yeah, that's almost 20 years.
Okay. Like, it's bananas. Like, oh my God. And there's only two, like you said, there's only two number one seeds, Alabama and
Houston.
Alabama's in Louisville, and then they got number 5 seed San Diego. So I'm just like, listen, it's some great games, and I watched some of the time. I watched the narratives, how people are like, how their storylines, and again, everything that has surrounded Alabama to still be able to see the mental toughness that they had to endure with everything that has happened in the program and still be at this space. Like, yeah. I mean, it's lights out. But yeah, I'm wanting to see.
Think about their position in the Big Ten tournament this year. Going into that last weekend, remember, they were slated to be the number 9 seed for the Big Ten tournament. They took care of business. They won their game. And then all the games after that fell their way, and they ended up the number 3 seed. It's that pedigree. It's that coaching. But also, when you coach this long, you have to be able to adjust with the times.
Man, right.
That's why Izzo has still been able to produce those players, is because he has not only been able to adjust his coaching style, but he's been able to adjust his approach in his mental state.
And that's what you need, because you have young players.
That's why Coach K got out when he did. I believe that's why he retired when he did. He saw that NIL coming down and he said, nah, this ain't for me. And you know what? I can
Because you
respect it.
do. I mean, Izzo has talked about that. Izzo has talked about that. Even the Michigan Michigan State coach for football has talked about it. You got to have a mental toughness even as a coach, because now
Yeah.
you're dealing with players who are making more money than you are, or if not the same. So your
Yeah.
conversation is going to be different than just go do what I say. You got to almost like you're dealing with a man in a young man's body. You know what I'm saying? You got man money, but in a young man's body. So you're looking at a 19-year-old who has grown men's money, and then you want them to work. So again, it has to be a relatability. It has to be where how we're going to talk to each other, how we're going to invest. And that's why, we both have said, team wins out. There's no more. You have to have a team approach. And
Right.
that's where we start to see some of the teams fall when later in the season or even in the postseason, is because that relatability. And a lot of them haven't even been here before, have not been here before. So you got you got San Diego, Alabama, Miami, Houston, Princeton and Creighton, and Xavier in Texas tonight, which kind of make up the 8. And on that side of the bracket. And so even when you flip over to the women, you know, like even Don said, I got to come play. And my girls got to come play every day. Every day.
Yup. I
Every
mean,
day.
did you think that Toledo would get out the first round for the women?
We've been saying that since last year. The MAC had some great players, but again, no one gets to see them. Like we covered last year. No, the year before, that was like 2020. We covered the D2. We covered the D2 division, and those players, man, out the gate, balling. So it was just great to be able to see them, like, in a different light too. Like women come to play. They come to play. Like who would have thought? Everybody kept saying Ohio State wasn't going to come back. I said, watch. Like, again, McGruff, he had to do some reseeding, some rethinking too of his team. He had to go small because his players are not the players that he had maybe not 2 years ago. But to see them again, it's a mental. Like when I look at their top 2, like Terry, JC Sheldon, like they come to play. And literally, they were Elite 8 last year. No. Okay. Elite 8. And they actually can take it to, if they can play UConn and play consistent, just don't let them get ahead. Don't let them get no more than 5 to 6 points ahead. They can be right with them and play, because UConn is not the same team as they were years ago. Gino's not the same person, not at all. So they have a great chance of winning tomorrow.
I've seen the press conferences and I've seen the interviews. He's tired. To me, he looks beat down.
Yep.
Like, I do believe, and that was actually on, if you saw it on my rundown for tonight, UConn versus OSU. Who you got?
Yeah, we're going to have to talk about that. So we're going to keep it going. But yeah, for the men. But yeah, the women, I've been watching the women more than the men. I want kind of like 50-50, but women more 60-40, because the women's basketball tournament has been electrifying. Like, whew, it's just a great step. So.
Yeah. Okay, so Rick Pitino has got himself a new head coaching job.
I know.
First, before I go into the press conference, how do you feel about that, period?
I like Rick Pitino. Always had. He reminds me of the good old boy. He reminds me of Al Pacino. I swear, I always thought that was him when they played, Goodfellas. I swear to God, I thought it was Rick Pitino. I thought it was him, and then they was like, no, Tiny, that's Al Pacino. They look alike, the mannerism. He like a daggone mafia of college football, college basketball. I'm sorry, college basketball. He's been around forever. He's been around the game. And for him to be a head coach again, he's 70 years old, Tony D.
Man, listen.
Worth $45 million. So I looked up his stats. I wanted to see like why he took it. This man got $45 million. He's 70 years old. He's going to be 71 this year. 60, still married to his spouse, one kid. What do you think? So, what do you think? What you think?
You know what? I love it. At the end of the day, if players can have a redemption story, why not coaches? I mean, we get on the players for their behavior and stuff like that, which, legitimate reason, you should know better. But I mean, come on, let's keep it real with these coaches. You really expect them to really be moral and walk the line when you're ready to fire them after one season
Right.
that doesn't go well? What do you expect these men to do? This is their livelihood. This is how they support their family. And if everybody around them is doing it and getting away with it, then come on. I mean, I know, they say, two wrongs don't make a right. You shouldn't do what the other person is doing. But this is a nasty game, man. Like, the life of sports is not played fair. I have said it and I will say it till the day I can't say it no more. Nick Saban got some skeletons in his closet. He's just got some good people that have been paid or incentivized very well to where
Right.
they ain't talking. They ain't talking. Now,
They ain't saying nothing.
They ain't saying nothing now.
But when I look at Rick Pitino, he's one of the winningest coaches in his NCAA history. Right. He's won 770 games. He got 2 national championships. He's made 7 Final Four appearances. For me, Rick Pitino just said, you know what? As I live out my last and dying days, I'm going to go ahead and go on back and just coach, see where it goes, see what we do. When you listen to all the coaches and you listen to all the players as they go into different, areas of sports, Rick Pitino never kind of went into the analyst piece. He kind of like stayed in the back. First of all, he was still coaching. But when I think about how many coaches has he coached, how many players he has pushed into the league, and then now he's coming back to coach like right now. I said his timeline is just, for me, it's just like, I'm just going to go play. I don't really have no pretenses. I'm just going to play. That's what my take is. I'm just like, here's a 70-year-old man that's got a job. That tells you also the magnitude of what he brings for you to bring him back.
Yeah.
And I want to know if he's going to still coach the same way he coached back then, because what he's been saying right now is time to rebuild. And I'm not sure what that looks like. Is that rebuilding him, rebuilding the team? You know what I'm saying? Rebuilding your legacy from what happened when you left. So I'm kind of want to see him. I just want to see him on the court. That's me. Yeah. I know what he did. I know, all the foolishness. But again, like you said, the St. John's, you ain't going to tell me they're not going to put no butts in the seats with Rick Pitino as the head coach next season. Man.
Yeah. So this is what he said at his press conference. He was like, so when I went to Iona, I said that Iona was going to be my last job. He said, and the reason I said that is who's going to hire a 70-year-old? No matter how much I think I'm Peter Pan, who's going to hire a 70-year-old?
Yeah.
And then he goes on, and it's going to start with, Lou built a legendary program. Legendary. I'm all in with everything that St. John stands for. I'm excited about it. I can't wait to get started. And it's going to start with a culture of work.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be good because he's a New Yorker. He's in St. John. He's a New Yorker. I think it's like you said, it's the culture. I think he understands the team because he's a New Yorker himself. He's going to probably bring some new players, because when you think about the new players, their dads, that was their head coach. You know what I'm saying? When you think about these young cats coming into the going to St. John, it's going to be a push like, hey, that was my favorite coach back in his 80s and 90s. That was my favorite coach, like it was like with the Jayhawks and the Dukes. Like you literally are looking at somebody where they're going to be able to pull him from the transfer portal. He's going to be able to really revamp. He's really going to be able to quick revamp this season.
Yeah, I mean, he said that because I watched the clip and he said that not everybody that is currently on that roster is going to be back next year.
Yeah.
And because he was like, they all don't fit what I want to do. And I remember people had a problem when the clip came out about Deion Sanders saying the same thing when he went to Colorado.
Right.
But this is my thing. If it's okay for a player to enter the transfer portal and leave because the coach that recruited them and brought them in left, why would we ask a coach to keep a player just because they're already there?
Right.
I mean, it goes both ways, And these days, let's see, I heard somewhere it's like, you can get an academic scholarship that'll last 4 years to if you want to remain at that school. But I mean, come on, you got players hopping in the transfer portal now after one season.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
So the days of criticizing a coach for leaving and going to something that seems better, and then not only that, wanting the team that they know fits their philosophy, fits their coaching style, fits their scheme. Let's cut it all out. Because what's his face? He was here at Ohio State, and then he left. He was a wide receiver. And then he left and he went to Alabama because he was looking at who was in front of him.
Right.
Najuba had a breakout season. I'm not going to get no playing time. Marvin Harrison Jr. was right behind. Do I really want to sit here? And now he went in the first round. I think he did go in the first round last year, even though he was hurt in the draft. And everyone was like, I mean, well, can you blame them? Look at who all was there. Okay. So a coach is supposed to sit up here and just do with what they got when they know that they can do better with who they know they can bring in.
Right. That's why I said it's just going to be great to be able to see him in another light, just to be able to see him, to see again, he's already made his mark. He has the champions, he has the NCAA, but it's just, again, like next year we could potentially see St. Joseph, St. John, and wow. But I mean, he's a Hall of Fame coach. Absolutely. That's what I said. Like when they first initiated was saying that he might be coming back, I was like, wow. When I look at Rick Pitino, he's like Tom Izzo. That's when I look at them too. They like the good fellas. What is my favorite movie with Al Pacino, and what is the other guy? Oh my God, I cannot think of his name. It's what I'm talking about. It's Al Pacino, and what's the other young man? Oh my God, it's gonna come to me. But when I look at them two, they are like the good fellas of NCAA. And it's like they've already had the March Madness victories back in the 80s. I mean, even in the 90s. And, he's been kind of like in the MAC, area. And it's like to see him kind of catapult himself back into the limelight. It's like, wow.
I think I know exactly who you talking about. Hold on here.
What is
You
his
know,
name?
movies and this is a sports show. You're daggone right.
I cannot. It's Al Pacino and oh my God, Robert De Niro. That's who it is.
Robert De Niro.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So I always had Al Pacino as Rick Pitino and Ray, and I had Robert De Niro as Tom Izzo. And you can't think I'm a Ray Loli, Ray and Joe Pesco. Yeah. But the Goodfellas was my movie. And I swear I thought that Rick Pitino was Al Pacino. He even act like him. That New York, that swag, that mafia swag. Yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah.
you
Oh
know,
man. See, they don't
it's
have
gonna be great to
anything
see him
on
back.
there.
And that's just my take on it. And there is a list that came out. One of my friends posted. I think I posted in the group. It has all the best goats, and so we've been arguing about it already in our group chat about who was the goat. But we'll talk about that more. But that kind of brought back, when they said the coach, I should have put Rick Pitino.
Yeah.
All right, where we going?
Yeah.
Where we going? Ooh, Alabama back now.
Okay.
Alabama
All
40.
right, so now on to the women.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I was about to say scoring update. Yeah, scoring update. Alabama is now up with 13:52 in the second. Left 40 to San Diego State 34.
Woo.
The men, hold on. Oh, no, that's the women's scores I got up there. Miami holding on to that lead, boy.
I know. You see it?
21 seconds in the left in the first half, 40-36. All right, now on to the ladies.
I know, ladies' night.
I watched Selection Sunday for the ladies. And I'm going to tell you something. When I saw that Indiana got a number 1 seed, I was pissed. I said, what? Excuse my language. What the hell? I said, they did not deserve it. I'm like, we beat them. We came back from 25 down, knocked them out of the Big Ten tournament. They did
but you gotta win the Big Ten tournament. But that's the thing. They gotta win the Big Ten tournament. I mean, you got you got 16.
I felt Ohio State could have been a number 2 seed.
Yeah.
I do.
Especially I don't want them to be. I don't want them to be the high. I like for them to come in low because then they play consistent. When you put the women's high, they don't play well. I like for them to come under the radar.
Yeah, see, certain teams can't do that because then they don't stay hungry, I think.
Yeah. Like you got the South Carolina Gamecocks.
South Carolina, UConn, Tennessee, no matter what seed they were, they stayed hungry. Certain teams get there, they don't stay hungry. They don't stay focused. They don't stay locked in.
Because listen, the Gamecocks is riding a 40-game winning streak.
Woo!
40 games since just last year. That's why I'm excited to see her, and we go down to Dallas for this Final Four because they're going to be there. They're going to be able to cruise through Norfolk State and South Carolina. But that's one thing about Coach Dawn. She don't never look ahead. She always looks at what the game is right now. So you got South Carolina, you got Big Ten, Iowa. Hawkeyes are still in. You got the UConn Huskies, which is where we'll play next, tomorrow. We got the Virginia Tech Hokies, Tennessee Lady Volunteers, and that's another game too. You have Jordan Horston from Afrocentric balling out, still leading the Tennessee's offense with an average of 19.3 and 15.5 points respectively. I've been watching her ever since she was in high school. And to still see her dominant play, even through when she had an injury last year, to still see Jordan Horston, her mom, just her and I follow her on social media. Like that, when I say just somebody who just humble but loves the game, go still play. That's Jordan Horston. You got Kim Mulkey. You know, she always somewhere around, somewhere around. You know, so LSU is still in there. We got Maryland. Another you got another Big Ten team. So we got a couple. We got 3 Big Ten teams still right now in the Sweet 16. Villanova.
Well, Colorado is giving Iowa a game right now. 7-16 in the second quarter. The score is 30-27.
Okay. So they didn't round up the top 16 for the women. We have Louisville Cardinals, Ohio State at 11, Ole Miss at 12, Utah 13, Miami Hurricanes, Colorado Buffaloes at 15, and rounded out is the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Rounds out the consecutive Sweet 16. So this weekend is going to be another shootout. A lot of them going to be persistent. It's all for me. It's going to be about persistent. Who's going to get tough? Because each game, your body gets to wear down. Your body diminishes. You know, playing consistently, especially for the women.
Yeah.
I think they play harder than the men, and they have less time to recover because how the game plays between the men and the women. So it's going to be all about, you know, your persistence as a team, continuing to just drive the ball, you know, make sure you don't stay hurt, you know, keep them getting hurt. And who's going to, you know, what Cinderella team out of all 16, what Cinderella team do you think is going to come? What do you think? What Cinderella team, what 8 teams do you think is going to come out of the women's?
Oh, I don't know. Let's see. I'm looking right now.
What 8 teams? This will be the question of the day. If you don't really watch women's basketball, take this weekend to flip the channel, see them play, and then let the crew know what 8 women's basketball teams are going to come out and make up the Elite 8.
My bracket for the women still ain't that bad.
That's what I'm saying. Mine ain't that bad on the women's side. I got my South Carolina taking it all.
Me too.
But yeah, we have to come back to that. But yeah, that's the question of the day. What
Ohio State?
What 8 women's teams will come out from Sweet 16 and make up our Elite 8? So I'm excited. Again, tomorrow starts their fill of play, and it's going to be bananas. Yeah. And again, I just keep saying it. We are at Elite 8 already. Like, what just happened?
I know, right?
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. All right, on to the NBA, and we're going
to start.
We're going to go ahead and get it over with. And, you know, all 3 of us last week, you and Troy, said if he comes back after his given suspension, what he said was not true. He was just saying what he needed to say to get back on the court. And ladies and gentlemen, it does look like that is what has taken place. But my question to you is, are you really surprised or more so disappointed?
I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm disappointed.
Not surprised at all, but I'm just disappointed because for me, he really needs, because they're not going to let him have another chance. That last chance with him was when he pulled that weapon in social media. Anything else, he will be gone indefinitely. So for me, as a coach, not even a coach, because that's not, you know, you're here to play ball, but as a family, support, whoever's in your camp, they're getting ready to bring him off the bench today. He's going to play. And I just don't feel that he's ready to play. This is what I'm going to say. He's ready to play ball, but he's not mentally ready to deal with what's happening in the last couple months. You have made some life altering choices. And for me, you have one more time to make a mental, you're going to be gone. You're going to
You
be
know
gone.
what? I'm gonna be honest with you. They not making it to the Western Conference Finals, and you know why? Because they are not going to be mentally prepared. I'm about to pull up the standings. Let's see, where are they currently ranked? Let me see here. Okay. Right now, the Grizzlies are number 2.
Yeah.
So right now you have the Timberwolves, the Mavericks, the Lakers, and the Pelicans in the play-in. So if I am to remember this correctly, the 2 teams that come out of the play-in are the 7 and 8 seed, correct?
Correct.
Because 1 through 6 is already set.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he played on Wednesday. He played 23
Right
minutes. He had
now,
17 points. He played 23 minutes and
beat the
47 seconds.
Warriors at all
But
to
I
get to the
don't know.
conference finals, I think they still would. And see, that's the thing. Like, this team's not ready. And see, they are taking their cue from him. Dylan Brooks, or whatever his name is, needs to shut up. He is getting on my nerves. Look, I'm all about talking trash. I'm all about, you want to give the other teams bulletin board material, but dude, do you understand what you're doing? You are putting a target on not only on your back, your team's back. And then John Morant is not taking the proper time. All I got to say is this. It's a 7-game series. Like I say, with the NBA, the NHL, and the MLB. Their postseason, it's not a sprint. It's a marathon. Because you have to win 4 out of 7 games 3 times. Or 4
And that's
times.
what I keep saying. Like,
they are going to come for him. Like, he's not ready. If he can't handle the regular season, he is about to have a true mental breakdown during the postseason. They're going to come for him. They're going to be whispering in his ear. They are going to be taking Jack tomorrow.
I know.
Like, he better get ready. He better gear up. He better do some Zen or whatever he got to do. Have somebody travel with him, because they are going to come for him. And if the other players don't shut up, I cannot wait. You know what? I want a Golden State Memphis series in the playoffs. I do. I just do. I just want.
You want them to do what?
I said I want to see Golden State and Memphis play a series leading up to the Western Conference Finals. Because if you think that you've gotten the best of the Golden State Warriors in the regular season, just ask the Boston Celtics how that worked out. Like, those boys got 4 pieces of hardware. 4. They can put 4 rings on their fingers. Y'all can't put none. And you keep.
But that's the thing too. When it comes to the Golden State, do they have enough this year? Because again,
they do. You know what?
Do they have enough to get to the Western Conference, but also to the finals? Do they have enough willpower?
I think they do. Remember, we were ready to count them out last year. Remember, we were ready.
Yeah, we put them out last year, and
And then, hold on, and then remember, when they went down 2-1 in the finals, everybody was like, well, Boston about to take this.
Oh, I knew Boston was going to win that. That's one thing I did say. I said, they will not win this game.
And I said to myself, I was looking at that, I said to myself, Golden State got them right where they want them. Golden State got them right where they want. Like, most teams, and you notice that when you look at it, most teams who have never been there before, like, they go hard to go up. and go up,
Right.
big to make it a sweep. And the teams who have been there before,
Been there
you
before.
just see them, you know, you see them game. They win one or they lose one. Okay, they win one, they lose one, they go down 2-1. And folks be like, the world be like, I'm like, they'll be all right, And I told myself, I told my husband, and I told my dad. And my dad agreed with me. Reggie was kind of like, yeah. Oh, by the way, hold on. I know we're like an hour in, or a half an hour in. I have to give a shout out. Today is my husband's birthday.
Happy birthday, Tennessee. Comedian Tennessee. Happy birthday.
He's at work right now. So, but yeah. I was like, they'll be all right. I'm like, Boston had to win game 4. I said it. I said, they don't win game 4, they not going to win that series. And what happened?
And they won it.
Steph Curry. Hold on. Steph Curry was like, bump this. Steph Curry knew that was his moment.
Yeah, he took it in his hand.
I say, Steph Curry. Yeah, well, I always explain last year's finals like this. Steph Curry took their heart in game 4 with his performance to tie up the series.
Right.
And then the Golden State Warriors team took the Boston Celtics soul when they won by 10 points.
Yeah, you just said they took his soul.
Well, think about it. I mean, think about that performance he put on in Boston. And when you look at the Celtics players, they looked exhausted. And then think about the look on their face at the end of game 5. Back in Golden State, Steph Curry does not make one 3-point shot. And the Golden State still won. At that point, Golden State had Boston soul because they were looking like, you've got to be kidding me. This man didn't make one 3-point shot and we still lost. So the look to me on their face was like, well, he goes off, we lose. He don't make one 3-point shot, we lose. Ain't nothing we can do.
Right.
That's how it was. But yeah, the Memphis Grizzlies, that team takes their cue from Ja Morant. But not only that, I feel Ja Morant had an opportunity here to reach a lot of youth. If he would have took the proper time away to really get himself together, I'm telling you, there are athletes watching him, watching his decisions, his choices, and how he chooses to deal with this.
Uh-huh.
Look at him. And I feel if he would have took that proper time away to really get himself together, revamp his support system and the people he keeps around him,
yes,
and then come back and excels. Imagine, what that would do for some kid or even someone in college now who is struggling, knowing they need to let certain people go. But that's my boy, this guy from the neighborhood. I don't want to sing this way. I don't want to sing that way. Because sometimes your parents, your aunts, or, the guy down the street or from the church trying to tell you what you need to do, you're not going to take it in. But you can be sitting here watching TV, looking at somebody that, you look up to, and okay, they had a similar situation to me. Okay, he made those changes. Now look at his life. Now look at his career.
Oh,
Nobody asked. This is the thing. And I remember reading this in something. I can't remember who said it. I'm not a role model. Nobody asks. Nobody volunteers to be a role model. But I do believe that when you get in certain industries, I do feel that it is a unspoken expectation to an extent that you automatically can have that label put on you, even if you don't ask for it. So you should still be conscious about the way you move in public and what you say. Because you don't know who's watching.
right.
You
You
know,
don't know.
not to go off of the subject, not to go off the topic of sports, but number 45 is a perfect example of that. He was flying off at the mouth, saying whatever he wanted, because you had a lot of folks who was up in arms about number 44 in his two terms, and then you had Nutso come in, and so they felt it was okay to say stuff out loud, to do stuff, and look what happened. So you can either enhance somebody's life or you can continue to send them down the wrong path. Now, granted,
Right.
yes, everybody makes their own decisions and choices. But when you are in the limelight, you never know who you could reach and who you could change for the better just by choosing
Right.
to to set the example by doing what folks don't expect you to do.
Yeah.
Because the coach said they were behind him, they support him. I want to know what those conversations were like. I want to know really what the team was saying to him.
Yeah. And
then,
that's a whole nother, yeah.
The players, were they in his ear? Come on, Ja, we need you. We need you after these 8 games. Let's go get this. Da 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 da. Because how long do you think before the next incident occurs? I say this off season, if that.
Right.
I say there will be another incident before next season with him.
And I hope not, I hope that, he does. I hope that basketball is giving him what he needs to get himself back. It's what you do off the court that, again, even when you look at so much has happened in our collegiate world with our athletes, what they're doing off the court. I mean, off the field. It's been unprecedented. And what you're seeing happening to athletes, staff, off the field and even off the court. And that's where, again, because there's money to be made, NIL, the kids have more access to money than ever before. And a lot of them don't have great support systems that are around them to make those decisions that will affect them. And it's affecting them like without no precaution because they keep thinking that, okay, I'm untouchable. That's when, because you look at Jay Morant, he's only 23 years old. That's like our kid's age. Like a young man who has whatever, like 35, 50 million, whatever that $1 million is. 1 million is more than what an average person has, an average man has in a lifetime. And so you get around the same people that you were in your neighborhood with, or you have never got rid of them, and you have never, shared with them like, hey, I'm in the NBA now. There's something I cannot do, but they don't. So with that being said, a lot of that happens where I'm going to say this until the end of time. Social media plays such a branding piece to these young adults from the rapping. Look at 69. how it was, how he had been saying for years, I'm going to beat you up. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, all the threats. And then you saw what happened. You're not going to always be with somebody. And you saw what happened. They caught him in the daggone working out. You at the life there. When you out here working out, you literally get beat up. And Charlamagne the God, he said something so profound. People have to watch what they say. Yes. People have to watch what they do. Because everybody don't care about that. There's one person that you're going to run up against, or they're going to try you just because you continue to show that and share that type of mindset. It's all about a mindset. And money can't hide you. Look at 69. Money can't hide you. No, it cannot. So it's it's the way of the world, and we get that, and we're supposed to be okay with it. No, we're not. Because if I, like you said last week, Tony D, if I was his mama, listen, I'd have been going like, come here, let me holler at you. Let me holler at you. But a lot of them even get complacent.
Hold on. If I'm his mama, I got him by one ear, and then I got the daddy by the other. You come sit your behind down. You his daddy, not his boy.
Because I don't know who's worse, the dad or him. It's when I look at the daddy, it's like he reliving his childhood through his son. Like, man, if you don't go somewhere and sit down, sir, sit down.
I want to go back to something you just said. Like you said, we got to be careful with what we say, what we do, and then especially on social media with what we show. I remember I was watching something. I can't remember if it was a documentary on the Kardashians or something, but I remember Kim talked about that incident in Paris, and everybody thought that was a publicity stunt. And she even said, you know what? She said, that made me very aware. And she was like, so I changed up what I showed on my social media platform. She said, I stopped showing as much, because she said when that happened to her, she realized there are people out here who just don't care. They see what you showing, what you doing, and then they want it. And they going to try to get it any way they can. But in this situation,
I'm telling you,
people got to understand that sometimes people want you to stay down with them, not to show that you still down for the neighborhood, but because they are jealous. They are jealous, and they want to bring you down. They want to try to remind you, this is where you from. You can't really do better than this. This is all you can do. This is all you can be.
Right.
One thing I do commend LeBron on is, you don't hear nothing from him. And when it comes to, and a lot of people don't know this unless they follow sports. His endorsement deals, why did they double? He fired his marketing firm, hired 2 of his boys from high school who were going to the University of Akron, hired them to handle his marketing, and look at him now. Like, you can still bring certain people with you, but you have to know who can ride the train, who can help you, and who you got to leave behind. And MC Hammer even said he learned that the hardest way of all. That's why if you want to learn from any celebrity, look at what happened at MC Hammer. He felt he had to take care of the whole neighborhood. And now look at him.
Broke. The IRS.
Man.
And everybody can't go with you. And that's things too, was like, everybody can't go with you. You still can be friends, but you have to have that mindset, and that's where I think where our young men and women fall short, because we don't know, we've never had that type of money. And so when we do get it, if you don't have a set mindset, and your family says, as a family, this is what we're going to do. We're not going to enable you, but we're going to make you be accountable for actions. I'm saying, and that goes back to a post that I saw again. It just resurfaced again on my social media page where he said 5 things that athletes go wrong when they get in the league: drugs and weapons in their car or in their house, being with a woman that they know or they don't know at all, being after dark, after midnight, when especially on game day or the night after a game, being out after midnight. So many things happen. He said, when your players win a game, there needs to be some. He said, if I was a coach and if we won a game, especially a championship game, every person would have to come back. Instead of releasing them back to their families, I would keep them for 24 hours back on campus. Everybody would have to come back where they came. When we get back home, 24 hours, you need to be in our camp. You can't leave. You can't go nowhere, because if you really think about things that are happening, it's happening 12 to 24 hours after they win a game, right, especially a championship game. That's when you see things happen.
Right.
And so, yeah, I say, you got to make sure having someone in your camp that's going to make you have to see what can really happen. And a lot of them don't. Because you get Jay Morant. He's a prime example. You got your dad in your camp, and your dad is allowing things to happen that don't make sense to us. None. Why are you in a club at 1, 2 in the morning and you're on the NBA team banishing a weapon on top of that? No. What are we doing?
Girl, we both dealing with kids.
Listen, I got my grandsons over here, and I'm just like...
Shut the door. That's why I love the scene in the movie Coach Carter. When they win that holiday tournament, he is on the phone with Debbie Morgan talking about the game. He goes to look for the team, more importantly, his son. And what I love about that scene is the cab driver did not have to tell him where he took them boys.
Nope.
The cab driver did not have to tell him. But when you look at after they won and you see those two girls salt them out and pass their address out. You are going to have to wait out.
Lord Jesus. All right, where we going? Where we going now? Where we going?
So your camp around you is very important. Okay, still in the NBA, the Lakers. Do you think they can make a run? Right now, they're in the play-in.
You said right now they're where?
Right now, they're the number 9 seed in the Western Conference. They're in the play-in. Do you think they can make any type of run?
I don't know. They don't got enough. I mean, LeBron is doing all he can, like he's done the last couple years since he's been on the team, since they've won the championships. I don't think they got enough juice in the tank for, even with him having that injury, I don't think they have I don't know. I've seen them work at this capacity and still win. And that's what I'm saying. It might depend on who they get. If they get a opponent that they can outmatch, then I think so. But I don't know. I think this might be another setback for them to kind of bust that team up again and make some more changes.
Right. They're winning more games now than I thought they would be after that trade. So they got something going.
They're going to always have something going. Tony D, they always going to have something going because you're dealing with LeBron. That's the bottom line. As long as you have LeBron, I don't care what team LeBron is on.
I'm talking about right now, though, because I'm not going to lie. When he went down, I was one of the folks who's like, oh, they done. They not even gonna make the play in. They not gonna make the playoffs. Like I'll admit, I counted them out. I said, nah, Anthony Davis ain't gonna be able to do this. He ain't gonna be able to carry them. He's doing what he can. The role players are, I mean, hey, there was a moment but that's how tight the West is. That's how crazy it is. Just a couple weeks ago, they were in a 3-way tie for the 10th seed, and they would have been out of the playoffs because they didn't own the tiebreaker. So, I mean, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. They're saying he can come back the last week of the season. So
I mean, I know they played. They played tonight.
I mean, some highlights. I know everybody wants to say Sacramento really make no noise because rookie, but they really haven't been here before. But I don't know, man. I've seen a couple of their games, man. Sacramento look like they ain't playing.
Right, but they play. I mean, they won their last 2 games.
They hungry.
The Lakers have lost. I mean, they've won their last 2 games to the Phoenix, Orlando. They play the Thunder tonight at 10:30. Then they got Chicago on the 26th. So, I mean, Anthony Davis is doing what he's supposed to be. Like you said, you got Russell, you got Beasley. I mean, they got some. I say, like you said, the supporting cast is playing. The supporting cast is playing enough to get them where they need.
But also, I'm looking at everybody else. The Nuggets, they've won their last 2. The Grizzlies have won their last 4. Now, granted, Sacramento and Phoenix have lost their last 2, but still, they're still up far enough. The Clippers have won their most recent one. The Warriors have won their most recent 2. The Timberwolves have won their last 2. The Mavericks, they've lost their last 2. The Pelicans.
I mean, it's close, like you said. It's close. But I like the move. They just made a roster move. They pulled Basketball Wives' son out of the NBA G League, and they recalled him to be the guard tonight ahead of the OKC. Yeah, Max Christie. He's been playing in the NBA G League. So they actually recalled him as a rookie guard. So I want to see. I haven't really got to see him play. I know they talk about a lot of it on Basketball Wives with his mom. So I want to see what he can do. And, with them pulling him from the NBA G League, his dad, his dad is actually doing the coaching from there. So let's see what he can do. And if they're actually going to be a part of that play-in tournament, I think if they can do that with the limited games they got remaining, they still can play. So they pulled him out this afternoon, right about 5 o'clock. So about 8 o'clock our time, they recalled rookie guard Max Christie. They don't know if he's still going to play, but they actually pulled him from the G League, and they got him as an extra player on the bench. So just in case they need him, because we're not sure about Russell, D'Angelo Russell. They're not sure about his status. Is he going to play? But
yeah.
So he played They say he played about 38 games. So he's been going back and forth. I'm surprised I didn't see the NBA dunk contest. I can't even think of his name. The dunk contest guy, because he's been in the NBA G League also, and I thought he would have gotten a contract, but he's still playing in the G League. So the Thunder ain't really making a lot of noise, so the Lakers should be able to play and win this game to kind of keep LeBron resting. I think LeBron should stay out until the playoffs if they should make it, so that he'll have, when he comes back, he'll only have like 8 games remaining, on their schedule. Right. So if they can keep him out as long as they can to heal him. So I'm working. Listen, we back here, the Lady Women's History Month, doing sports and taking care of kids, multitasking. But that's what we do. Okay. That's the independent media outlet. The fast break.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. The NFL. I mean, there hasn't been a whole bunch of news there, but so we still have some players who haven't signed. Zeke, Odell, and DeAndre Hopkins. Those are three that I can think of, that can be significant. Where would you? I know you would love. I don't know if you would have preferred.
Listen, we've been arguing about where Elliott's gonna go all week since they kind of announced where he was gonna go between the Jets, the Bengals, and the Eagles. I can't see him going to the Eagles for one. That is his rival. That's not gonna happen. But the Bengals and the Jets, the scheme would be better at the Jets. But I can see him going to the Bengals just because he would come back closer to Ohio State. But how would he match up with the receivers that are already like with Chase? That front three, where would he be? You know what I'm saying? He would have a better chance with the Jets because he could come right in and make his own way and be the number one. If he comes to the Bengals, he probably will be like right behind number two. But he probably could be like that 3-4. He does very well, on third yard, third down, fourth down. So I don't know, but I can't see him going to the Eagles. If he goes to the Eagles, that will be, oh my God. I can't even phantom. Like, please, baby, don't make me have to go get no shirt for no Eagles. I can't. Now, any other team, I can still get my Elliott jersey because that's how I do. Because I kind of follow the players and some players. That's like I do the NBA. But, baby, if you go put that Eagles, that Crow or jersey on, that boo-boo green, I'm done. Elliott, you can't even get no more of my loving. You can't. I'll put a bingo shirt on before I put on a freaking Crow Eagle.
I know he didn't mention this team in his final three, but I think he could also, honestly, I think he could be a good fit in Cleveland as well.
Yeah.
I mean, because remember, they've been going back and forth for one with Kareem Hunt for the past couple seasons. So we don't know necessarily what's going on there. And then two, I mean, yeah, him and Chubb are kind of similar, but then, those short yardage situation, instead of bringing Chubb in, you got Elliott, especially if you don't, if Kareem don't stay, and that would give Chubb just that much more life, that much more, life to his career.
Because he tweeted yesterday after, he's been quiet for the last couple of weeks, and he tweeted, because I've been on it. He said, I want my 15 back. So whatever that means, it's like I'm going to see the old Zeke. I mean, because he wore 15 the whole entire career, but I got his jersey, and then I switched up and put that 21 on when he went to the Dallas Cowboys. So, yeah, it's already hit like 50,000 likes in 24 hours. So I've been watching this really, really close. I love Ezekiel Elliott, but I knew his time there was just up because of the last 2 years. But I want to see him somewhere where he can make an
impact,
make a comeback, and get that mojo back, get back to that old Ezekiel back. And like you said, Cleveland, the Bengals, the Jets, man, can you imagine him being in a Jet suit and how, because a lot of those OSU players, they go up north. They're Patriots, they're Steelers, you see a lot of them go that route. They go up north, and, so he would be on some team, be with some players that have actually played for OSU. So, man, he been putting little clips out, video clips out, with his trainer in training. So he looked good. He looked hecka good. So, hey, I can say it now because I don't got no bull crap from our teammates acting a fool about my boy. So I can talk some trash and talk about my boo today. So yeah, the Lamar Jackson, I'm tired of it. He need to make a choice because he been calling folks liars all week. So I'm just like, dude, listen, go get the franchise tag, do something, or set out because it's about your time not to be up to.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
from what I heard was somebody came out and said that they were calling teams on his behalf. But then he came out and said no, but then there's supposed to be this tweet or this video with this person about some gym or something. My thing is, you know what? I'm gonna be honest. Man, listen, the owners might as well. I mean, you know what? Y'all might as well see what he wants. Because if you think that playing hardball with him is going to make it easier next year, I'm sorry, you are sadly mistaken. Because the seed was set years ago with Kirk Cousins. And then the seed has been replanted with Deshaun Watson when it comes to the guaranteed money. You have Burrow, Herbert, I think there's somebody else, and then Jalen Hurts next season. Now, Jalen Hurts is eligible for an extension now. So, my message to Philadelphia, don't make the same mistake that Baltimore did.
Right.
Don't make that same mistake. If you want to wait, I honestly feel you are making a mistake by making Jalen Hurts prove himself one more year. Because what if he goes out there and he balls the hell out? And let's just say, for the sake of the argument, they make it to, not only do they make it to the Super Bowl, but they actually win it next year. Then what? You think he's not going to be wanting Deshaun Watson money? Especially if he was to bring y'all another championship? Like, these owners, you know what? You're playing hardball. You think you think you're going to wear them down. Some you might, but there are some that they just looking and it's like, oh no, I know what I'm worth. Because and like I say it every week, and I'll say it till the end of time. If Baltimore had no intentions of paying him, they should have done something.
And that's the unfortunate part. You know, we know they dropped the ball, but he's still not going to get the money, Tony D. He's still not going to get it. Not there.
But that's what I'm saying. You knew what you were going to do or what you weren't going to do. And so you made these offers knowing that you really weren't going to go any higher than that.
Right. That's right.
You should have just looked to get some compensation and move on from him. I mean, at the end of the day, like, did you really think he was going to sign a deal where he's getting less in guaranteed money than Kyler Murray?
Right. All day. Hold on for 1 minute.
Okay. Like, ain't no way. Just ain't no way.
They're right there, They're great.
All right, we're back. Multitasking.
Yeah, so
multitasking.
What are your thoughts on what the Panthers are doing? Like, you know, how they're building like their roster through free agency with like the wide receivers and stuff. Who do you think they'll take?
I don't know, because I don't really like when it comes to the Panthers. It's like, who? Like, what can you take? Like, who is going to come to them? They've not really been good since Cam Newton. So it's like, who are you really going to take? Who's really going to come? You know, like, you know what? They were 7-10, 7-10. So
right.
They signed DJ. I can see Stroud, because I mean he's gonna be like between 1 and 2 draft pick, and that's what they have Stroud going to either the Panthers or the Colts. I can see him going to the Panthers. Now, if that happens, they will have a. They're going to have to put some weapons around him. Some weapons around him.
Right.
Because yeah, they signed DJ Shark. So they're, I think that's why they're adding all these different weapons and revamping their offense in hopes of getting Stroud.
Yeah, they also signed Adam Thielen as well.
Correct. So, the team vaulted to the number 1 pick this year. So if that was to lock up and they was to get the top QB prospect, then that would be Stroud. So to see him, go into that type of offense.
They also got running back Miles Sanders and then tight end Hayden Hurst.
So, I've been watching, I don't watch him, but I know as the draft gets closer, I am going to be locking in just because I can see them picking Stroud. Because again, who they're picking up throughout this free agency. They're getting these, the targets, they're getting, people who could actually, these new arrivals that are coming for the offense, again, ahead of this free agency, I think it will be, if they can acquire that number all pick, and it's CJ Stroud, whoo. I don't have any more, so go.
Yeah, so, honestly, yeah, Bryce Young is good, but when people try to criticize CJ Stroud throughout the season because he didn't run, were there moments in games where he could have and should have to kept the drive alive? Absolutely. I'll give people that. But the reality is, when you look at who he had around him at Ohio State, he really didn't have to. And I think when you don't have to, as a quarterback, when you don't really have to have that running capability to help your offense, you are going to be hesitant to do it. Because when you run, you put yourself out there, and, I could also see him looking at it from the standpoint of he's looking at other quarterbacks before him who had the running capability, who also have an arm, but they see how they haven't been fully developed because that's what they have focused on when it comes to, running an offense through these mobile quarterbacks. And I'm sorry, I can't, and I'm going to be honest, I can't get past Bryce Young's size. They said he would not step on the scale on his pro day. That's because we all know he beefed up for the combine, so he would be over 200 pounds, and now he done lost that weight again.
Yeah, because they said he had a great pro day yesterday. When I look at Bryce, Bryce Young as well as CJ Stroud, they're two young guys that did some phenomenal things throughout their career. And it's going to be great to see that, again, it's going to be this is going to be a QB season this year going into the draft. Some QBs. And with Bryce Young and CJ Stroud going first, the first top two. Who going to go first? Who going to go second? I know the Raiders have been meeting with Bryce Young. Now, I know I saw a social media post with CJ Stroud and his mom after their pro day. So, it makes headlines, it makes, conversation. But I don't know. I think CJ, if you're looking at whoever, again, because we got Carolina Panthers number 1. Either they're gonna pull CJ Stroud or they're gonna pull Bryce Young. If I'm talking about the two top quarterbacks, I would say CJ Stroud would do better in Carolina and Bryce Young would do better in Indianapolis, just because of the scheme of play that they play. Because in Carolina, just like Cam Newton, he didn't have to do as much. You know what I'm saying? His receivers did a lot versus in the Colts. They do a lot of movement. They
Yeah.
move. You know, the quarterback. Wait, go to the bathroom. The quarterback moves. So Bryce Young can do that. He maneuvers. He can come out of the pocket. CJ gonna have
Right.
to still learn that. So that's why I said when you're looking at fitting, Carolina, that's why I said the things that they're doing, you would think that they're trying to pull CJ Stroud because then the receivers, he can stay in that pocket and he ain't gonna stay in that pocket long, but enough to get the ball off versus Bryce Young. If he goes to the Raiders, he will be able to maneuver because that's the type of team that is on the run. They on the run. The quarterback don't stay. As soon as they start the ball, they gone. So, that's how I look at it when I start to kind of break it down. Even, just my first reaction, like, yeah, if you're saying they're pulling all this weight, then I can see them trying to get CJ Stroud because he would have to have time to learn the game. Like almost like our young man that passed away, the OSU QB,
Dwayne Haskins.
Dwayne Haskins, but he ended up being going in as a receiver like how he was. He had to, you got to change your style. And sometimes OSU don't do very well about that.
Well,
So we
ladies
going
and gentlemen, another #1 seed has went down. The final score: Alabama 64, San Diego State 71.
Woo! Bananas!
And I don't know. It looks like we're not about to have any #1 seeds because
Well,
right now,
there with my bracket.
scoring
Well, there with my bracket. My bracket just folded up like a paper bag. It just fold it up, throw it in trash.
Right now, with 8 minutes left in the second half,
Wait.
Miami 72,
Yeah, wait.
Houston 58.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. We about to bring him.
Oh, hey! What's up?
Hold on. Tony D.
Uh-oh, what happened to her? Hey, Grinch, how are you?
Good riddance. But anyways,
You talking about Alabama?
no. Actually, I'm watching the games. The Hurricanes are bringing a tear to my eye.
Tony D just said, "Where is the Grinch at?"
Hey, no, hold on. The women definitely put a tear down my cheek earlier today. I said the Hurricane basketball program is getting real good all of a sudden. It's just the damn football.
You said the
football
who?
doesn't catch
You said
up.
what program?
Hurricane.
You said what program?
Miami. Look, I'm over here almost like a proud father right now. I said, keep it going, boys. Knock
Are you
out
a
for another
proud
number
father
one.
over there?
Right.
Actually,
You know what? That's what I'm saying too. I'm like, it's still enough time for them to come back.
yeah.
Come on, Miami.
But
You gotta stay
but
focused and locked in.
no, but this is the thing. Houston is struggling. They can't even hit a jump shot. Miami is just destroying them inside, outside, and they're hitting threes from everywhere.
Right. Yeah. Because I'm like, look at I said, Grinch might have to come on. I was going to say, because I said, I know he over there somewhere jumping up and down.
No, hey, but I know the reason why y'all don't hardly see me on here. I had to deal with my daughter because she's going through some stuff, so that's why I haven't been on.
But you know what? We miss you. We glad you able to jump on tonight and give us some holla. And we were just talking about again, the NBA and how things are changing. But March Madness.
I hate to say that the NBA is not fantastic anymore. I hate to say it.
It's not fantastic.
No. It's not, man. Tim, I hate to see the crying barking at the refs. Man, just play ball. You know how much money y'all getting paid, and the average person come out to come see y'all, and y'all want to do this load management. Man, y'all could kick rocks, man. I have no respect for a majority of the NBA players. You got some who will play 82 games. You got some want to do that load management stuff because they think they're gonna make it to the playoffs or make it to the NBA finals. Nah, give the people they come out to see you. You should beat your ass need to be there.
Yep.
You get millions of dollars. Come on.
Yep. You got to play. And woo. I
You know
mean,
what? Tanya, since we got these scores, I'm updating the family brackets while we're on. Evelyn's on to something. Evelyn picked San Diego State over Alabama.
And
Oh,
I
no,
knew. And the
Hold
thing
on,
is,
Greg. So no,
go-
we're doing a bracket challenge with the girls.
ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Hold on. Check this out. Evelyn, not only did she pick San Diego State
Mm-hmm.
to beat Alabama,
Mm-hmm.
she actually also picked Florida Atlantic.
Hey,
As far as they go,
I ain't mad at her. I ain't mad at her.
all right.
I ain't mad at
I
her.
cannot believe
hold on.
my bracket
I ain't
just
gonna
crumbled.
lie. I looked at her sideways because she actually has Florida Atlantic winning it all. But they got a shot.
They got a shot, but to me, I think Gonzaga might mess around and win it all.
You said who?
Gonzaga might mess around and win it all.
Man, come on, Grinch. We just said, remember Grinch back in the day when Gonzaga was the Cinderella story? And
Mm-hmm.
here they are. And you said that, I think, when we was first getting started on the Move Sports Chaos, like back in 2016, when Gonzaga, was always the Cinderella. And you said, Chaos, in a couple years, Gonzaga is going to be top tier. And here we are
Yep.
right now. Right
Mhm.
now.
But another thing too, these mid majors, talent wise, caught up with the Power Five. So that's why you see the Power Fives getting picked off left and right by these mid majors. The mid
You know
majors
what?
has caught up.
And you're right. And this is why they caught up. And I talked about this at the beginning. One and done.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. The one and done has
Mhm.
killed blue bloods.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It
I agree.
has killed the blue bloods, the true blue bloods of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
You have some schools like a Purdue where, they have players who have been there for 2-3 years, but like your Kentucky,
Right.
your Michigan States,
Your bigger
your
schools.
Duke,
Yeah.
your Kansas. You have all these UCLAs, you have all these one and dones, and so the coaches are having to recycle, revamp the offense. They can't just continue to work together and get better and better
Mm-hmm.
each season. And then you have your Loyola Chicago's, your George Masons this year,
Mm-hmm.
your San Diego States, your Creighton. They've been together 2-3 seasons. I mean, you got guys who are singers because I remember when George Mason had that run to the Final Four.
They had no but juniors and seniors on that team.
When you looked at those basketball players, they looked like grown men because they had been there for 2-3 seasons.
Yep.
And their body was ready for that endurance, for that grind of the postseason.
And then on top of that, I'm a piggyback. To me, if you stay in at your school at least 3 years or all 4, you'll be more well seasoned and be ready for the pros.
That I say it all the time.
The one and done, you ain't ready. You want to get those once in a lifetime, like the LeBron and I could go back old school, Moses Malone's and the ones who came out of high school and was the truth.
Kobe,
yeah. But now the thing with Kobe had to wait a hot second till he really got a chance to play. Kobe had to play. Yeah, that's one thing about Kobe. They say he was ready, but he wasn't mentally ready. So that was the thing. That was the thing with Kobe. Kobe had to wait 3 seasons for him to really start playing.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. Kobe didn't. Dale Harris was the coach for the Lakers. If Bookie Troy was on here, he'd be like nodding his head. Yeah, Dale Harris is an old school type coach. Yeah, you could have all the talent in the world, but if you don't listen and don't use this, I'm gonna sit your ass on the bench. Yeah, I said
Yeah.
that every
That's
word.
right.
Jesus.
Sorry about that. You sit your butt on the bench. Let me recorrect myself. You sit your butt on the bench. That's how Dale Harris was, and that's what got Dale Harris fired too. So that when they brought in the other coach, that's when Kobe started doing this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I really. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Kobe. Yeah, Kobe ain't doing his 10 till his like second or third year.
oh wow. And down to see where he at now, and just to, even to think about him still being gone, it just don't make it. Just don't.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Like it's
It,
like, when you, especially when you get around this time of the year and
mhm.
playoff time, you just be like, I can't believe he is not here. Like, he's
I
gone.
know. Yeah, yeah. It's real. It is real hard seeing him not being here. But I give Kobe his piece. He does go back and do his thing. He also certain players pick his brain like he picked Michael's brain. Hey, how'd you do this? How'd you do that? Make yourself to become a better player. That's honestly that's how you should do. Go to the OGs who played in the league and pick their brain, and that'll make you
Right.
become a better player, especially your work
Yeah.
ethic.
Yeah.
Yep. Your work ethic.
I remember Michael's speech at Kobe's memorial service.
Yeah.
He was like, he became an annoying little brother, calling me at 2-3 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Asking me for this, asking me, but he said he gave it to him. He gave it to
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. And see, when people want to talk about the GOAT or the order, and people want to leave out Kobe, and his game was a lot like Michael's. So what?
So what? That's
But,
what you want sometimes. That's what you
but you
want.
know what? And that's my thing. It's like, how are you going to sit up here and say this man cannot be a part of the conversation because his game was similar to somebody else's? So
He loved him.
what?
He
Right.
loved him so much. He kept on asking, "Hey, how'd you do this?" So if they come with a double team, which way should I spin, or should I pass the ball, or do X, Y, and Z? That's how you do it. That's how you pick your you said his big brother. That's how you pick your big brother's brain. I wish more.
Right.
I wish more players nowadays will go back to the OGs and pick their brains up on certain things to make them become better players. Right now, they
But you
too
know what? Not just on the court,
right off the court too. I know.
but also off the court, because I
Hmm.
was watching First Take. I talked about it last week. I
Hmm.
was watching First Take a couple weeks ago, and Big Perk said that Boston used to have the retired players from the Celtics come in and talk to them. And
Good move.
what
Yep.
he's been trying
Yeah.
to tell John Morant in his camp now, he went through when he was in the league, and he said he'll never forget. One of the players came in and said, as long as you're playing, your phone will always be ringing. But the
Mhm.
minute your playing days are over,
It stops.
that phone will stop ringing.
Mm.
And Big Perk said he dismissed it, and he was like, man, whatever. And he said, sure enough, after my last game, he said nobody was calling. He was like, now when I got my second opportunity at ESPN, he said my phone started ringing again. He said, but I learned my lesson and I didn't
Mhm.
pick up those people.
Right.
Like, they have to understand. See, there is and yeah, I'll phrase it this way. There's an art form to survive in this industry.
Hmm.
And what they don't understand is, you want to know why people like Charles Barkley and other players get so upset with the players today
Mm-hmm.
because of everything they endured for them to have. They're
Right.
not jealous.
They
They're
don't
glad.
appreciate it. They don't
Right.
appreciate it.
Right. They don't appreciate it. And that's what gets these old school players upset is because y'all don't understand what we went through, what we
Mm-hmm.
had to fight for, what we had to accept, what we had to endure, so you guys can have the contracts you have. So
Right.
you guys can have the type of, honestly, power and say over what can be done in adjustments and changes in the league. But
Mhm.
y'all sit up here and y'all act like y'all ain't got to listen to nobody because y'all know what's best, no appreciation, no understanding. There is always a foundation. And that's what's missing from basketball, in my
Yeah.
opinion, is
No, I
that
agree.
foundation. And it even go, and I say that foundation is missing even in college with
Yes.
a lot of your top tier programs.
Mm-hmm. Because they
Now,
go.
you have a few where the foundation is still there, but
Right.
that foundation, that humbleness, it's missing. And I've
Yep.
said it before and I'll say it again till I can't say it no more. That's because at the right little old age of 5, 6, 7, or 8, when these kids show just a glimpse of what they could be,
Mm-hmm.
you can't tell you can't tell little Timmy nothing because his dad's going to get on you. Little Timmy's not getting all the playing time his dad think he should get, so dad is ready to
Mm-hmm.
bust up the coach.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody disciplines these boys.
Nope.
Honestly, nobody disciplines these players. Nobody knocks them in the chest to humble them. Yeah, I said it.
No, you're right.
Because they need. The reality is, why you think John Morant doing what he doing? Because he ain't had nobody knock his behind
No.
upside the head.
I got you. No
Hell
accountability. No accountability.
There it is.
whatsoever.
There it is. God, we would have never been able to get that off. We would have never been able to get that off back in the 80s and 90s. None
Nah.
of that would have been off.
Nah.
None of it.
Hold
No.
on. I'll take it a step further. Not only would we not be able to get it off, we wouldn't even be able to get it thought up. The first
No.
glimpse, the
Yeah.
first sight from our
Yeah.
family, from
Yeah.
our child. Oh, hold on. So you think negative?
Right. Right.
Like they knocked it out of us as quick as they saw us trying to bring it.
Right. And you know what? I'm gonna piggyback what you just said because I worked for Parks and Recs from '99 to '07,
Okay.
and I did many activities, coaching basketball and all that. I was at Barnett and at Marion Franklin.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So
Hold on.
when
You said from when?
from '99 to '07,
Which one were you at first?
Barnett.
Okay, you were at Barnett first.
I was at Barnett. I was at Barnett from '99 to '02, and then from '02 and '07, I was at Marion Franklin.
Okay.
Okay.
Now I don't know. I don't know if they still have it out there, but my grandfather, he passed away in 1998.
Who's your grandfather?
Thomas
That name sounds familiar.
Thomas Tank. My grandmother.
Just what I said. That name sounds familiar.
Yeah. My mom grew up in Southfield, but they planted a tree in his honor because
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Yeah,
It's in the front. It's in the front.
Yep. So
Oh, wow.
you know that traffic light right there at oh my God
Right there. It's right there before the freeway, right before 104.
No.
Oh, you mean the other traffic light?
Come on, Williams Road?
Yes. Okay.
Oh,
Okay. Yes.
Williams Road. Okay.
Well, hold on. No, it's over by Williams Road. Oh shoot.
Is
Let's
it Groveport?
see.
Is it Groveport?
I was like, that Groveport, bro?
No, it's
Girl,
in
why you
Southfield.
got it?
Hold on. It's off of Rhodes. It's off of Rhodes Avenue. Hold on. Let me look at me. I'm on Google Maps. But my grandfather.
Oh, is it fair? Is it Fairwood? Is it Fairwood and damn it, Watkins? Is it Fairwood and Watkins?
Yes.
You know, I don't remember.
Yes, Fairwood and Watkins.
Yeah.
That traffic light was not always there. My grandfather.
You're right.
My grandfather made such a fuss. No, because kids were getting hit by cars.
Yes.
Right. I was the second. That light was not there back in the day.
Right.
It was a four-way. It was a four-way stop sign.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My grandfather made such a fuss. They put those traffic lights up right there in Southfield.
Wow.
And then another thing on top of that, years later, they finally put sidewalks out there, right there on
I
Lockbourne.
want to say, because I know when we was walking from Fairwood to Marion Franklin, we was on the road. We wasn't no sidewalk. We was on the road to get to Marion Franklin. Because you know, at Fairwood, it would drop you off right there at front of the before you went underneath the bridge, and then you had to walk the rest of the way to Marion Franklin with your dime in your pocket and your lunch. Because you get your good lunch, put your dime, and you will swim till about 5, because you had to get right back out east before 7 o'clock. Because before that first sizzle of that light, and it was a wrap.
Oh, but let me go back to Lois. Lois, hold on. Hold on, Lois. Lois, hold on. I'm gonna piggyback on what you just said about the accountability. When I coached basketball, I was at Barnett. I did the 11 and 12-year-olds. Those are your knuckleheads. Most of the time, those are your knuckleheads. But this what I do. This what I do to them, and I say it in front of their parents at practice. Let me coach your son. I don't need you to interfere. I don't want to hear you. Hey, 3 seconds. Travel this. I need you to keep. I said no disrespect. I need you to keep your mouth closed. They're learning from us. That's what you paying your fees and stuff for. And we are here to coach. We are volunteering. We're not getting paid. So let us coach and let us coach. I said let's coach your sons. It's going to be discipline. This, that, and the third. Schoolwork, I'm gonna let y'all know. Schoolwork is expect the homework needs to be done. I will check with the teachers, this, that, and the third. If they're not doing what needs to be done, their butt will be right on the bench the whole game. Don't say, "Oh, 1 quarter, this quarter." No, they need to learn accountability and discipline. If they being disrespectful of any of the staff here at the rec center, they'll be running. No, that's what I do to them.
Yeah.
I said, do not.
Yep. I said, don't interfere. If you interfere, I'm like this. If you interfere, go ahead. Take your son. There will be no longer on this team. And I did that at Marion Franklin too.
What you talking about?
And that's why them kids and them parents probably they probably love that. And now them kids is probably in their 20s and 30s.
Oh yeah,
20s.
they talk about it. They talk about it when I see them. They talk about it. Man, I remember, and most of them say thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say thank you. We needed that.
You know what? Matter of fact, we did that with our parents because remember, I graduated from high school in 2000, and remember in the late 90s. When they were doing those senior trips on those cruises and stuff, that's when those girls started coming up missing, like in the islands and stuff. And I'll never forget, for my senior year, the senior trip was to Mexico. My dad said, absolutely not.
Yeah, you ain't going. Yep.
Oh, I was so upset. But we were sitting at Sunday dinner one day. It was after both me and my youngest sister, Patrice. We graduated from college, and we were both living back with our parents for a little bit, and we were sitting there at Sunday dinner, and we were talking about that. We were talking about all the different things they said no to, but we especially touched on that. And we talk about all the girls since then that have come up missing. And we straight up turned to our parents and we said, thank you.
Thank you.
We were like, we get it now. We was like, because that could have easily been one of us, and we
Right.
would be sitting here right now. Like, that's the thing. See, we look back and we have an appreciation
Right.
for our parents and what they said no to, what they tried to show us, and what they
Mhm.
did for us. And I do the same thing with my girls. And me and they dad both straight up tell them, like, you think you the first one to think of this? We
Right.
thought this, and we straight up telling me, like, you know what? And we did it 10 times better than you.
Mm-hmm.
Gotten away with it at the moment, but that doesn't always happen. But
Right.
I always tell them, I'm like, it's not my job to be your friend. It's my job to be your mother.
Your parent. Yep.
Your
Yep,
parent.
to be your parent.
That is the problem. You got so many parents trying to be friends, and then you got so many coaches. You got a lot of coaches and volunteers who coach in fear of these parents.
Yep. You shouldn't be coaching in fear.
But the thing is accountability, it goes further than just the kid.
Right.
These parents
His
have
parents.
to be held accountable for their actions and what
Right.
they allow for their
Them to
children
do.
do.
Mm-hmm.
Because these kids don't just walk out the house, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this. Look, if they are sitting up at home disrespecting their parents,
They're gonna do it out there too.
Telling them what they're gonna do, or oh, you got to do this. No, I don't. Then how the heck are they going to listen to a coach?
Right.
You know, I mean,
the upset is on. The upset is on.
oh, I see it.
Yeah.
See it.
Hey, I told you, a tear about to come down my cheek. A tear about to come down my cheek.
How about that in the Final Four this year? Check this out.
No number one.
Number ones. Hold on, and it all depends on what Texas does. Possibly no number twos either. Texas is the only number two seed left.
You're right. All the number ones are gone. Yep, all the number ones are gone. Yep, and Texas is the only two left. And that's going to be a good game. That's going to be a good game. Texas and Xavier is going to be a good game.
We told you at the beginning, that's going to be a good game tonight. So we're going to wrap this. We're going to get this wrapped up. But Arkell left some shenanigan news. And I'm kind of going to flip it. So I'm on this social media site. It's called WTF. And it has all the most craziest news that is out there. So the first news is there's a snake in Africa whose venom causes your blood to not only stop clotting, but to come running out of every hole in your body. It's called the boom slang snake.
Yep, I heard of it.
Yes. And the newest is in Japan, napping at work won't get you fired. In fact, taking time out for a snooze is seen honorable and signs of diligence by employers. So could you nap at your job? Start with you, Grinch. Could you nap at your job? Would you nap?
Hell no. No. Look, I'm at, you already know, I'm at Columbus Public Schools. Well, I still call it Columbus Public, but they always call it Columbus City, but it's still Columbus Public Schools. But
what do you do for Columbus City Schools?
I whoop kids. It's like, nah, I'm a food service manager / cook at Mifflin Middle.
Oh, okay. How long you been there?
Right now, a year and a half.
Okay.
Just started. Yeah, I've been doing the prisons, the hospitals, the assisted living, nursing homes. I did it all.
He said,
I did it all.
So could you nap at your job, Tony D? Could you take a nap at your job?
That's why I take a nap when I come home.
Tony D, could you take a nap at your house?
Hold on. I'll put it to you this way. I've had coworkers who've had to come and tap on my desk after I've had a good lunch.
Well, that means that's a yes.
Yeah.
That's a yes then.
Yeah, that's a yes.
Hold on.
With me being a teacher,
we actually used to do it on like our lunch when I worked in the call center. Like I had one coworker on his lunch, sometimes even on his break. He would straight up, like, I can't remember if he had a blanket, but he would just he would get on the floor up underneath his desk and he would take himself a quick cat nap.
I ain't mad at him.
What? Ain't no way in the world.
Not on the floor, but I ain't mad at him.
Sometimes I would go
I ain't
out
gonna
to
be
my
on no
car.
floor.
Sometimes I'll go out to my car and I'll set a timer.
Oh,
And
I used to do that. I used
I
to
used to
do
do that
that.
back in the day, man. Listen,
I used to do
especially
that.
in them going out nights, and you had to go to work on a Monday. I would set my clock at
Oh,
lunchtime so I could go out to my car and be gone. That was the best sleep
oh,
ever.
oh, no, I did the worst. I was went out that whole weekend and only got like 3 hours of sleep. Then
Oh my God.
my dumb butt went to my car. I said, all right, I'm about to take a nap, y'all. I wake up, it was nightfall. I was like, no, and look, I was the only car in the parking lot too. I said, no, nobody ain't tap on the window or nothing.
So nobody woke you up?
Nope. I did one of them,
That's
and
crazy.
I said, never again, never again. But oh yeah, I got a bone to pick with you.
who you talking to?
Uh, um, 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 Miss Kels Diva, I got a bone to pick with you.
Oh,
Uh-huh. Don't look all puzzled. Don't look all puzzled. You see how fast she got off? Lois Lane. You see how fast she got off? You see how fast she got off?
what's the bone you got to pick with her?
Oh, so she owed me some food since 1987, right? So she said, all right, Al, we're gonna go to the spot. So I get no phone call, no text message. Then all of a sudden, she made a nice little review of the spot we supposed to go to get something to eat at. I said, "Oh, we doing one of these now." No, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear nothing. I said,
That was a call.
No, I don't want to hear it. You could have called me. Al, meet us up here. I had to see a.
Because we was getting ready to leave. So,
I had to
honey,
see. I had to see
so
a
the next
post.
shenanigan news, we'll talk about that more. The
Mm-mm-mm.
next shenanigan news is in another Japan. Hold on, I gotta get to it right now. Hold on.
Game over. Another number
When
one.
in
No,
China, there is a 50-lane highway in China,
I heard
and
about
it
that.
merges into 4
Yeah,
lanes.
I heard about that. That's crazy.
That's crazy. Who I just sent it to our page. Who in their right mind going to be in a 50 lane freeway and it all merges into 4 lanes? That means you ain't going nowhere. No day, at least one day you are going to be in that traffic. What? Ain't no way. There's no way I could do it. Absolutely no way at
Oh,
all. Like,
this is getting
Get
interesting.
game
Can
over.
Iowa's girls hold Colorado off? Right now, it's 2:31 left in the fourth quarter. Iowa 78, Colorado 72.
listen, I told y'all this whole weekend's game is going to be straight madness.
Hold on.
And as we get ready to slot, go ahead.
Hold on. I gotta ask you this. Ask both of y'all this really. What y'all think
Okay.
about, does OSU women has a chance to knock off the mighty giant Yukon Huskies?
I think they do.
What would be the game
Absolutely,
plan?
yes.
I gotta ask both of y'all.
Absolutely, yes.
What would be the game plan to utilize to beat Yukon?
Team, they're going to have to come out the gate. For me, from watching them going to the game on Monday, they cannot go down like they did against James Madison.
They will get
They
blown out.
cannot go down. Absolutely. Because
They'll
they will get blown out. But if they allow JC, Terry to play, they need to go with a small forward. They will play. It's going to be basically how Coach McGruff coaches this team.
Okay.
Is he going to coach complacent, or is he going to coach like no other? is he going to coach in a different manner? Because Gino, I don't care how long he's been doing this, what his record is,
Mhm.
Gino knows how to get to the Elite Eight and Final Four.
Yes, he does.
Coach McGruff was there last year, so they've been there before. That's the difference. They've been there before, but do they have what it takes in the gas tank to play? Because with men they play 2 quarters versus women they play 4. So for me, it's going to be the coach. This is all going to lie on Coach McGruff all day. If he can coach right and coach his team to not go down 10 and 12 before this half, they will have a great chance of winning UConn.
Okay, Miss Lois.
I think they do. That I do agree with Tanya in that sense. They can't go down big.
Mm-hmm.
Don't rely on the 3-point, feed in
Mm-hmm.
freshman.
Right.
Freshman, that she's a beast. I can't remember her name. But also, don't wait until you're down and you're trying to mount a comeback, or don't wait until you have the lead and you're trying to fend off a comeback.
Mm-hmm.
I feel to do their full court press on defense. When they do
Mm-hmm.
that,
Mm-hmm.
woo! Like it is teams, it's difficult for teams. But even
Yes.
if they do get down, I feel that they would still have a chance because you see they've stayed poised. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they haven't been rattled. And I think that 25-point comeback against Indiana in the Big Ten tournament helped them
Mm-hmm.
because I'm sure a lot
Yeah.
of people counted them down and out, and you would think going into the tournament, the blowout by Iowa would have them down, but they've
Mm-hmm.
managed to shake that off. Another thing they're going to have going for them is it's UConn. So who's really going to be giving them a shot? So they can really play loose.
Mm-hmm.
The expectation is not for them to win.
Right.
So they can really play loose and carefree because they know that that's not the expectation for them.
Gotcha.
So, but
Gotcha.
like I told Tanya earlier, I think Gino, you look at him, to me, he looks beat down.
Oh,
Like
he's wore out.
he is
All those
worn
years.
out.
All
He
those
is worn
years.
out.
Yep.
And I mean, with the NIL coming in too, I think that's going to be big for women's sports in college
Mm-hmm.
basketball. And if you're not built to handle that, dude, you might as well start to find your replacement and start to bow out because it's going to change. Like we already see some of the challenges with it. Once they get a handle on this, it's really going to change the game.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? They're not going to be able to continue to do this footloose and fancy free with the NIL forever.
Mm-hmm.
They have a new president coming in for the NCAA.
He gonna cut that out.
Trust and believe. Now I don't know if he'll be able to completely cut it out.
No, but he's gonna put
Regulations
a control.
and
A control. Yeah, he's gonna put a
control in
control.
there, which is
Yeah.
what it needs to be in the first place. Like to
Mhm.
just, have it. Like honestly, I believe. What are you doing? Those aren't yours. Honestly, I believe if you're an incoming freshman, I feel you shouldn't have one. Or if you do, it should be low. It should
I
be low.
agree. I
It
agree.
should be low. And I feel you should earn.
Earn it.
Like
Yep.
earn the No. You should earn, the bigger contracts because you have some, I think it's even in football, like you got some players, freshmen coming in and they're gonna be earning more than what any player has earned before and before they've even stepped on the field, so Yeah.
All I know is that tomorrow's going to be a great weekend. Again, tonight is the men, tomorrow's going to be the women. It's
Yeah.
just, whoo. Like if your bracket ain't safe, your bracket ain't safe. Ain't
A
safe
lot of
at
people's
all.
brackets got
So
destroyed.
Alabama, man, oh yeah, Alabama was the deciding factor tonight. I knew if they lost because I had them winning it. So my bracket's done. I only did one this year. It's a done data. It was hanging by a thread. And I knew if Alabama didn't come out and play correct, couldn't come out and play consistently, they was going to lose that game. Because right now, this is the year of the Cinderella stories. The Cinderella stories.
The mid
And
majors.
now you're saying for the men, but now you're saying now, Grinch, Gonzaga has a clear shot now. Alabama
Yeah,
gone.
that's
They
why
had a clear shot,
and
clear path,
I
all the
did
way,
I did a
all the
bracket.
way.
I did the bracket at work. I did a bracket.
Oh,
Um, I got Gonzaga going all the way. I see a lot of people pick Alabama.
Oh my God.
I said Alabama's gonna get knocked out either in the Sweet 16 or Elite Eight. They was gonna get knocked out, and they got knocked out tonight.
Oh, Sweet 16. Woo. Houston gone, Alabama gone. I had that,
Kansas
man.
gone and Purdue is gone.
All the number one seeds gone. Every
All
single one
the
of them, there was no number one seeds left.
yeah,
None.
all the number one seeds gone, and
And
then
Miami played good. I was watching some of the highlights.
they made me proud.
I said, wow. They made you proud tonight. I said,
The men and
Miami.
men and the women made me proud tonight.
The men and the women. I said, look at here. I said, I know Grinch is somewhere like, yeah. So we're gonna close it out because it's 9:30 and the last part of the last game just kicked off. We got Xavier in Texas at 9:45 and Princeton and Creighton just just tipped off.
Yep.
So who you got? Who you got before we go? Who you got? Princeton against, and I'm saying it right, Creighton. Who you have winning that game?
Ooh, that's gonna be a good one. I think Mr. McDermott, Doug McDermott, Senior. I think they're gonna pull it out. Princeton got to have a very good.
I think so too. I think they're gonna be. You talking about Creighton?
Yeah, I think Creighton's going to get it tonight. But I won't be surprised if Princeton.
Yep, I do too. I think it's gonna be an upset. Yep, I think tonight is gonna be upset. Sweet 16. I think Xavier is going to take out Texas, and I think Creighton is going to take out Princeton. It's going to be upset. We already had 2 upsets already, so I think it's going to be upset. Yep, I think it is. And I think Florida Atlantic is going to take Kansas, and I think Gonzaga is going to take Connecticut. I think they're going to knock out UConn tomorrow.
Who's playing
all weekend long? Is going to be upset weekend.
Who's playing UConn tomorrow? Who's playing UConn? Not the women, the men.
Gonzaga. Gonzaga. The men. Gonzaga.
That's gonna be that's bully. That's gonna be a bully ball game right there.
And that's an 8:49 tip off game. I can't wait.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be a tip off.
Yeah, that's bully ball. Oh yeah.
Tomorrow's boxing. 2 games.
Hold on, boxing. Hold on, one more thing. Boxing. The month of April. Nothing but fights, and fights. That's all I gotta say.
I know.
Heavyweight. Fury is going after the champ, so they're going They're finally going to unify all the heavyweight championships. Finally. So, other than that,
oh my God, I can't wait.
Good weekend of sports.
Well, next week will be the last week.
Last week what? March?
I mean, next week is the end of Women's History Month. Like, I cannot believe it's going to be April 1st.
April Fool's.
April 1st is on Saturday. Like, April Fool's on a Saturday. Like, wow. Like, Marches came and went. Like, it came and went. Now we're going to be turning our sights to the NBA, the NFL draft, the WNBA. I mean, baseball's getting ready to come in, come into play, soccer. Yeah. So we still got lots to talk about, but we're going to be turning the tide from really in about another week. College basketball will be over. It will be over.
Yeah.
Final Four is next weekend.
Yeah. Final Four,
Yeah.
and then the national championship game on Monday, the following Monday.
On Games Monday. So we will be back on the move with Sports Kells Media. We'll be traveling to Dallas. Alcon, our media sports analyst, will be in Dallas for the women's Final Four. So he'll be bringing us all the sports action. So make sure that you are checking in, dialing in to Sports Kells Podcast, Sports Kells Media, on the website for all the sites, for all the social media, the sports highlights, as we bring it to you live from Dallas. So we're going to sign off. Our Kales will be back next week, and he will be our analyst, because T. Kales will be in Atlanta next week for a special guest appearance at the Solemn. It's for a website that was actually built through Women's History Month. And so I'm excited to be able to go back and share what our website through Empower Our Youth Foundations has done, and what 48, they are a women's owned organization that utilizes independent women web designers, web developers, techies, and they build websites for women. So you have a nonprofit nonprofit organization and you need a website, go to 48in48.com. And hold on, make sure before I say that, I want to make sure I have it right. I should have had it. It's 48in48.org. There is and again, yes, and they serve nonprofits, and they mobilize marketing and technology, and these are all women volunteers. And again, from techies to virtual services to social services, we won our website back in 2021. And here we are 3 years later, sponsorship to donations, and it has just been a great way. It's a social entrepreneurship that brings marketing professionals together to create websites and digital materials to help nonprofit women extend their impact. So I'm excited. So I'll be in ATL next week, but our Kels will be back with everybody. So Grinch, it was always good. You're with me later.
Yay!
And Tony D, you did a great job. Tony D, let's give it up. Let's give it up. Well, yeah. You know, hey, we held it down. We held it down, Tony D. We held it down. We held it down tonight.
Thank you.
We held it down. So signing off. Listen. Signing off. Have a wonderful weekend. Be safe. Lots of basketball out here. Sports Kells Wine and Brew. See you next week.
Peace.